thankfully Shedeur played well enough that this just wasn't 5 hours of fire Stefanski.
It feels fun. It's funny because they did lose to one of the worst teams, the worst team in the NFL, and yet today's felt like a lot of fun in many ways.
Now,
it's different.
That being said, this would be the time where, after last week finally saying I'm done with Stefanski all the way, let's be done with this, I think it's time to restate that fact because he was really bad yesterday. On the 2-point conversion alone, taking Shedeur off the field, that in and of itself is a fireable offense.
And that's where he's getting a lot of heat today. So it's funny because if you would try to tell a bunch of national people or a bunch of people that are, the Albert Breers or Ross Tuckers that are going to come on like, hey, listen, guys, you don't understand. The amount of special teams blunders, it's continued, and that's a hard sell for them. But the idea that everyone's talking about the failed 2-point conversions and how we went about that, I think that bolsters the case in many ways.
Yeah, and I just think, if you're going to make that play, that's fine. But I think something that Kevin has continued to do less of, right? Because it's funny, I think we all treat, all Kevin Stefanski's pressers as, they're the same thing. No, there are times where he's been more forthcoming than other times. To basically, when he's asked questions about the 2-point conversion decision, to basically steer the conversation to why it was, meaning the actual play itself, as opposed to defend why Shedeur wasn't on the field. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's now 24 hours removed from that loss, exactly, and we still don't know why he thinks it's a good idea to remove the quarterback who's on a roll from the field in a goal line situation. When the goal, by the way, isn't just to win, Freudian slip, but also to give this quarterback chances to prove himself.
All right, I'm going to give you an answer, okay? And I'm just trying to get into the brain of Stefanski. I have a nice quarter zip from the Stefanski collection on today, so I feel like maybe we can do this, okay?
Did you audit a Ivy League online class?
That's next.
Okay,
we're right away from that. Yeah. I think if you ask Stefanski, and this is why they had settled that they were going for this while the drive was happening, okay? And this is where he misses feel often. I bet if you asked him, truth serum, hooked them all up, he would tell you that play with Judkins and even if you're not using Corley, you're using Gage at that point, I think he thinks that was the best play they have in their bag. That gives them the best chance to actually get the job done. And I think the easy and obvious response back to that, Nick, would be, well, then you don't know what you're looking at because Shedeur Sanders should be the one on the field, and he's the one that's been authoring up 400 total yards of offense. How do you not pay attention to that? But this would also fall in line with the idea that for months he didn't trust Shedeur yet. And so I think there's a lot of that happened in that game that hasn't carried over yet, and I think that came from a lack of trust in Shedeur, more so the faith and ability in Judkins and the Wildcat in order to get that job done, and I think he thinks that's the best play they could do in that moment.
I think the thing that has to happen over the next 4 weeks is on every Monday where it's apparent that the coaching staff has again jobbed you. Like the Browns are a 3-win team with 4 games to go, in a huge part because of the coaching staff. And it really frustrated me when people on that call were like, well, but it's Tommy Rees's call. He is the head coach who focuses on one side of the ball, the side of the ball that made the dunder-headed play to take the ball out of the quarterback's hands. I have not minded the Wildcat in the other 2 games because I understood what they were doing to some point. Shedeur was on one. He was rolling. He was playing really good football.
Gotta let that man cook.
So, the offensive coordinator is going to want to get creative. The offensive coordinator is going to want to me, Tommy Rees suggesting that or wanting to make that call is not the problem. That's what that guy's job is to do. The head coach in this scenario has ultimate veto power. But there's a segment of people who you can't even give Kevin that blame. I can't judge the guy for who's in the quarterback rooms to some people. I can't judge him on how they're coached. I can't judge him on the in-game decisions. Am I just supposed to believe that Kevin Stefanski is just... He's just opaque. He's just see-through. He actually isn't a real person. He's just a robot.
Oh, so that's interesting. I didn't. Maybe I should have looked at it that way. I didn't look at it as people defending Stefanski or anything with that. I I just think people didn't understand how collaborative this whole thing is. And I think people didn't understand. I think in passing the torch to Tommy Rees, I think fans just thought that he just is all-encompassing, and then Stefanski was just, I don't know, going to sit idly by. I didn't
Maybe
know.
drink an espresso.
I know.
Read a little Tolstoy.
And so I think that's kind of what people were thinking, and they were obviously wrong about it, and we've been talking about it for weeks, the idea that this was going to look more like what Sirianni does in Philadelphia, where he's got a hand in all of it, and you'll leave games, and yes, he might have called 20% of the plays, he might have called 60% of the plays, but he's got his hand in the cookie jar in all of it, and they talk through everything.
And I'll just go back to this. You either coach it or do you allow it? So when, to me, again, with Bubba Ventrone, I'm not anti-Bubba Ventrone. I'm anti-losing repeatedly because of special teams. So when Bubba Ventrone, because here's the problem. Kevin Stefanski has said, and this is how we know this because people repeat this, of what the Browns do not fire coaches in the middle of the season. They don't believe that there's a significant advantage there. They prefer to make changes at the end of the season. So you would rather look good to other people around the NFL than get serious about winning football games. That's all it tells me. So from now on, when Tommy Rees makes that decision and it goes poorly, guys, it's on Kevin. When Bubba Ventrone's special teams, when I'm 75 years old talking about Bubba Ventrone's special teams units,
I hope not.
As he's like Ted Williams' frozen head, screwing up special teams, it'll be on the head coach because Bubba Ventrone serves at the leisure of Kevin Stefanski, and the special teams have boned you 6 times this year.
I didn't want to ruin the rant, but are you suggesting you outlive Tommy Rees?
No, Tommy Rees he's going to be a head coach somewhere. He'll be the next Kevin O'Connell.
Where was the Ted Williams frozen head coming into play?
Oh, that was Bubba Ventrone.
Oh, Bubba Ventrone.
Yeah,
so you're suggesting you outlive Bubba Ventrone.
Yeah, I'm also a frozen head in that scenario, by the way.
Okay, well, I thought because you said you're 75.
In like 5 years, yeah.
I was like, okay, I didn't know where we were on the table.
Bubba's going to be like, well, actually, I think Bubba
I think Bubba's not that old. I mean, isn't he like early 40s, I think?
He might actually be. We might be the same age.
Yeah, like the odds you outlive Bubba Ventrone. He's 43.
Yeah.
You're 40.
Yeah.
Probably not great.
No, they are. I've got medicine on my side.
And he doesn't?
No. My point is, medicine's going to be the great equalizer.
What do you mean?
No, there's a medicine, the advances in technology. I'm going to be bionic by the time I'm 50.
Okay.
But we'll get a bionic heart in there, going to get a bionic liver in there.
You're going to be like half computer then, half robot by that point.
Best version of me. Hell yeah.
I mean, Dylan's already partly computer, so like you're just stealing from him, basically.
Well, no. I won't be a supercomputer. I'll be like a working computer. Okay, that wasn't great. I can even admit that was weak talk for me. The point is, it is your weekly reminder that Kevin Stefanski has no business being the head coach going forward, and there's no way. I would love to truly sit with Jimmy Haslam candidly in the suite and just say, what do you think about all this? What do you think about this decision? What do you think about this? Because quite frankly, there's no defending this.
Well, he might just say, wait for it, it's coming. He might. I would hope he'd say that at this point. Like, is there any world that we live in where Stefanski is the head coach next year?
Yeah.
Because all the beat reporters continue to say the same thing they've been saying for a long time now, and that they don't feel like he's truly maybe they'll admit the seat is warm at this point, but they don't think that he's actually going to get fired. If Stefanski still has his job next year, it's because he was in on the whatever we're calling this, where they lose a lot of games. There would be a hard time convincing me otherwise. This coming from the owner that was giving bonuses to Hugh Jackson for losses. I'm of the belief that if he still has his job next year, the call was coming from inside the house. He was playing along with it the entire time.
I think, honestly, though,
it'll make a lot more sense of a Jets loss and a Titans loss. I'll tell you that much.
But here's the problem is, you're in some ways you are giving him a pass for it. Then,
well, then he's just executing his job as what they're basically instructing him to do. It's not giving him a pass because we still have to go through it. But I see where you're going.
But I think the idea that, you know what, they lost the game and that was the plan. Guys, they're not good enough to win games. What makes you think they can successfully lose games? Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, we can't orchestrate. When we put all of our brain power and the thought partners get together and we cup hands and we sing the Yale theme song or the Harvard theme song or the Penn theme song, and then we talk about it and we just sit there thinking we're just, hey, guys, how much better are we than everyone else? When you cannot successfully plan to win the game, Why do you think they'd be good at losing games too on purpose?
I mean, they just they made the Titans look like an offense that the Titans had never been this year. There were so many parts of that game that were peculiar up until even the deciding part of the game and the 2-point conversion and what that call ended up being.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, where they've admitted already at this point that that was the plan the entire time. Their plan the entire time for the 2-point conversion attempt was to use as many rookies as they can in a gadget play. Like it just doesn't seem like that's plausible.
I was ready to fire Kevin Stefanski last week. I cannot imagine a world in which Jimmy Haslam didn't watch what happened, having watched everything else that happened, and he didn't maybe realize that yesterday Kevin went a long way to firing himself.
That's why I'm saying if he's back next year, we have a lot of tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists to go ahead and talk to.
I just think when it comes to what you saw, there's something you just said there that boosted something. The first 2 games, if you were a Shedeur supporter, you saw enough that you could, hey, this is what I was talking about, right? Mm-hmm. But if you were a Shedeur, you saw enough to kind of, stoke your flame. This was the first definitive game by any Browns quarterback. There wasn't a game with Joe Flacco that I could say definitively he was excellent or he was awful. Well, actually, that's not true. I couldn't say it in the positive. I could only say it in the
negative. We
had
some negatives, yeah.
Yeah. Dylan Gabriel, I could only say it in the negative, right? Like even the Miami game. I was watching that game and I was like, guys, he actually left points on the table. He was bad yesterday. He just happened to get buoyed by an incredible defensive performance and winning the game.
The Minnesota game. It was a stretch for a lot of people.
Like, even if you try and, Shedeur lost the game. Did he, or did the defense give up a lot of big plays? And did Kevin Stefanski coach his way out of a win?
And I will tell this to people, too, and I've not checked the PFF grades myself because I just forgot about it until right now. I can check them. I promise you the PFF grades are not going to be as kind as people want them to be because PFF, they are going to be very hard on that interception. That's PFF's grading system in general. They look at an interception like that, and they'll be hard. He graded out as the 3rd best offensive player on the team. He got a 76.2 rating.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. It's not. Is that the world's greatest performance by PFF? No, of course not. Yeah. It isn't. There's a lot of room for growth in that, according to PFF. But they're very harsh.
With Big Stefanski.
Well, they're very harsh on interceptions. And Njoku graded out as the best, and then Fannin graded out as the 2nd best.
216-474-0092. So I reiterated in the previous segment, I'm ready to see Stefanski gone. I saw more evidence of it. I think Stefanski is checked out, and I think that's a fair criticism of him. And yet, as furious, for multiple hours yesterday, I was furious with Stefanski, and somehow, because of the way Shedeur played, specifically in the 4th quarter, when it mattered the most, I came away more encouraged about Shedeur than I was mad at Stefanski. And guys, I've been mad at Stefanski for 2 years.
And I think that's kind of the fun part about today is we get to talk about the encouraging sides of things, and we don't just get to sit here and complain about Stefanski because it feels like we have a bunch of things we can yell about with Stefanski in regards to yesterday's game.